Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to deconstruct a product called Guttur, a throat spray. And here's the fun part. We're going to act like detectives, using only the clues found right on its box and in its manual to figure out what it is, how it works, and who it's for. So, let's dive in.
So, here it is. This is our subject, Guttur. For the next few minutes, we're going to treat this box like it's our only source of truth. We're going to examine it from every single angle to piece together the story that it's trying to tell us. Here's our game plan. First, we'll get to know Guttur just from a first glance at the packaging. Then, we'll dig into its surprisingly simple core ingredient. After that, we'll look at what it claims to do, figure out how to use it safely, and then we'll wrap up with all the key facts you need to remember.
All right, let's get started. What's the first impression? What does the box tell us right away?
Okay, so right off the bat, the packaging is super clear. This is not some prescription drug. You can get it over the counter. And its main job? To be both an antiseptic and an anti-inflammatory for your throat. Pretty straightforward, right?
So, we know its purpose. But the real story is always in the formula. What's actually inside this bottle? This is where things get really interesting.
The formula is, well, it's incredibly minimal. According to what we've got here, there are only two things inside. Distilled water, which is the base, and then the star of the show, an active ingredient called colloidal silver. And that's it. That's the entire list.
So what on earth is colloidal silver? Well, imagine incredibly tiny, microscopic specks of silver just floating around in a liquid. In this case, that distilled water. They don't dissolve, they're just suspended. And that state of suspension is exactly what makes it colloidal. Now let's talk about concentration. The packaging makes a point to specify 30 ppm. That stands for parts per million. So basically, for every million parts of this solution, only 30 of them are actually silver. The fact that they highlight this specific number tells you it's a pretty carefully chosen level for whatever the product's trying to do.
Okay, so we've got the what. Now it's time for the why. What does this product actually promise it's going to do for you? Let's take a look at the claims.
And here it is, the main event. Taken word for word from the source material, it helps to quickly relieve inflammation and soothe a sore throat. The key words there are definitely quickly and soothe. That's the core promise they're making. And how does it plan to do all that? Well, the literature lists a few properties. It's described as antiseptic and anti-inflammatory. It supposedly fights bacteria and viruses, and it's also designed to moisturize your throat to get rid of that awful, scratchy, dry feeling. This lays it all out very, very clearly. On one side, you have who it's for. It's targeting conditions like laryngitis and tonsillitis. But just as important, if not more so, is the other side, who it's not for. The packaging is explicit. Do not use this if you have a silver allergy or if you're under 6 years old.
Okay, let's get practical. We know the what and the why. But what about the how? How do you actually use this thing?
The directions are a pretty simple 3-step process. First up, you got to shake the bottle well. Second, you do 2 to 3 sprays right onto the back of your throat. And third, you just repeat that about 3 to 4 times during the day. It's really designed to be a straightforward routine.
And to help you get that spray right where it needs to go, the bottle has this specialized long nozzle. Trust me, it's not just for looks. It's actually engineered to deliver the spray precisely where you need it most, right on that inflamed tissue at the back of your throat.
Of course, with any product like this, the safety warnings are absolutely crucial. The literature is very clear: keep it away from your eyes, stop using it immediately if you have any kind of allergic reaction, and finally, this is meant for short-term use only. The guidance says not to use it for more than 7 days in a row.
All right, let's wrap this up with a quick summary of all the key technical details you'd find right there on the box.
So this slide kind of pulls it all together. Each bottle has 50 milliliters, it's got a shelf life of 2 years, and you need to store it in a cool, dark, dry place. And like we said at the beginning, it's an over-the-counter product, so you don't need a prescription.
And that's it. Our deconstruction of Guttur is complete. So, what's the big takeaway here? We've just looked at a product that combines an ancient element, silver, with a shockingly minimalist 2-ingredient formula. In an age of really complex pharmaceuticals, it kind of leaves you with a final question. Does this signal a growing desire for simpler solutions in modern wellness? It is definitely something to think about.